Hey everybody who's just joining us. We'll get started in just a minute. We're going to give people a few to get connected, and then we'll start making some mezcal cocktails. If you have some of these ingredients at home, feel free to go grab them and make a cocktail along with us. Mezcal, of course, being the main ingredient. And Mike, do you want to just go through some of the ingredients you have listed there?
We have a lovely young mezcal called Sombra, which I think translates as sober, which if you drink this bottle, you most likely won't be. It's actually, sobre means about. It doesn't actually mean sober. So mezcal is really cool. If you like tequila and you like things slightly smoky in the vein of Scotch whiskey and whatnot, I would highly, highly recommend switching your favorite tequila cocktails to either a combination of mezcal or 100% straight mezcal if you can find one that's a little bit on the lighter side. Mezcals run the gamut really from bright and fruity and funky and vegetal to really smoky and complex. This one here, like I mentioned before, is a Joven. It's a young mezcal, so it's a little bit on the lighter, fruitier side. So Del Maglai is another great brand. Espolón, she's a Yale Club member, which is a really, really sensational mezcal. The only reason I'm not using that one today is because it is a little bit more expensive. So I find these to be really, really great mixing mezcals. So roasted pina of agave is what it's all about here today. Hey, Tom, how are you?
And we have some of our guests here on the Zoom as well. So Michael, why don't you just get started and tell us about the cocktails we'll be making today?
Yeah, let's do it. So the first drink we're going to be making today is a Mescalida De Pina. So it's basically a twist on a traditional margarita, but instead of sour mix, we're going to use pineapple juice. And just for another added layer of flavor, we are going to slice up some jalapenos and give it a little bit of a punch that way. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera over to the closer view. For those of you on Instagram, if you want to be able to check out all the angles and all the views and close-up shots of all the ingredients, as well as shopping lists and recipes before and after the event, make sure you like, subscribe to Yale Club's page, and sign up and reserve your spot on the Mixology with Mike Cocktail Hour Zooms, as well as the Chef's Corner that are alternating on every other Tuesday, and all the other great online content that we have for you guys. But without further ado, it's 7 p.m., which is well beyond 5, so let's start mixing up some cocktails. Okay, so for the first thing we're going to do with this, and I'm going to move my shaker out of the way here, is I've got a lovely, beautiful, dark brooding jalapeno pepper here that I'm going to cut the tip off, and then I'm going to go ahead and make 3 really small slices. Now, a good trick to do with any jalapeno is they can be a little bit up and down with their heat level. So what I do is I'm going to chop off a tiny little piece, and I'm going to be really brave. I'm going to taste it. Okay, so it's got some good heat, some bright fruitiness, but it is not over the top killer spicy like some other peppers. So empty clean shaker here.
Just look at this.
I'm going to take our 3 slices of jalapeno. I'm going to plop those right in the bottom of the shaker. And then just as we shake, that kind of action is going to basically serve to like muddle and release some of the essential oils from the jalapeno. So what is next is we are going to put some ice. Whenever you use your hands when bartending, but ignore my indiscretions here. All right, so we've got our shaker iced. Next, we're going to measure out our mezcal. It's the one I'm using this week. We're going to put 1.5 ounces. For those of you who have taken these classes before and you don't have a fancy cocktail jigger like I do, you can use a set of tablespoon measures, and 1 tablespoon equals 1/2 ounce. So if you're using those, you want to just go ahead and put 3 tablespoons, but if not, I'm going to put 1.5 size portion of mezcal. Then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 ounces of pineapple juice. Okay. Then we are going to add our agave cocktail syrup. Really, really simple. It's just 2 parts of agave to 1 part hot water. And if you check out the club's YouTube TV channel, you can find how to make a lot of the cocktail syrups and fresh squeezed juices right on that page. So we're going to put a 1/2 ounce of agave syrup.
So Michael, I have to ask, obviously for sugar, you want it to be dissolved into a simple syrup for the cocktails, but the agave is already a syrup, it's already a liquid. Why would you want to cut that with more water?
Yeah, you cut it with more water just so that it dissolves into the rest of the ingredients really seamlessly. Agave is not great at blending perfectly well with other things, so it really helps by thinning it out a little bit to get the right consistency and reliability with strength as far as cocktail making goes. So next, we're going to put 3 dashes of orange bitters. So 1, 2, 3.
Oh, and I should say, if anyone has any questions, whether on Zoom or in the Instagram Live, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll ask them out loud to Mike.
And we're going to put 1 ounce of our fresh squeezed lime juice in this as well. All right. Okay. Lime juice, mezcal, pineapple, orange bitters, agave syrup, and 3 slices of jalapeno pepper. The only thing left to do with this one is shake. Good 15 seconds till the shaker is nice and frosted up there. Now I actually should have chilled this glass beforehand, but what we're gonna do for just 1 more added layer of flavor here is I've taken a little bit of ancho chili powder as well as salt, and I've just blended those 2 together in a Tupperware and then added them out on a plate. And then I've also got a plate of lime juice here while my lovely assistant fixes our connectivity issues. So I'm just gonna kind of douse 1 edge.
So I'm not sure if we missed it, but you do want to get a bit of lime juice on the edge of the glass so that it'll pick up the chili and salt.
And we're gonna be really kind of fancy here and just give it kind of 1 wipe on the side, because I happen to know my partner in crime behind the camera doesn't really like too much salt or spice. But, you know, I'm forced to be fancy at every chance, so I have to add it. So we've got that there. Give our cocktail 1 more shake just to kind of freshen it up. Oh, helps if you put ice in the glass, Mike.
I feel like that's one thing whenever it comes to home cocktail making that I'm always envious when I see you of, is because I have 1 ice tray in my house and I have very minimal ice. I'm sure a lot of you have that issue as well, so it's luxurious to be able to have that much ice at home.
Well, the benefits of having a fridge that makes ice, I guess.
That's the dream.
Yeah. There we have our mescalita. If you wanted to, you could garnish this with more fresh jalapeno slices, but for me, I think it looks just great. Very, very tasty. I am now going to pass this off camera just so I can make a little bit of room for our second cocktail.
Before you move on, Mike, I did have a question about the juices.
Sure.
So in some of your past videos, you've talked a lot about how you can, of course, buy the store-bought juices, but fresh is always better, and it's better to juice it yourself. But you don't juice a pineapple.
No, if your grocery store has fresh squeezed pineapple juice, God bless, drop the address in the chat because I will absolutely start shopping there. If not, you could certainly buy yourself a very expensive juicer and juice a pineapple yourself, or mangoes or cucumbers, or make yourself, you know, super green smoothies, you know, every morning. But unfortunately, you know, I'm still with the analog methods for fruit juicing. So, you know, call me old fashioned, but the pineapple is the one thing where I'm going to trust the quality in the can, and it's a good product. You know, and the fresh citrus is kind of bright enough to really liven the whole drink right back up. And, you know, you really can't taste too much that one of the 6 ingredients in that cocktail came out of a can.
Fair enough.
All right, so let's do our second cocktail, which is a really fun and simple classic. This is a Paloma. So You want to think of a Paloma as kind of a, you know, a grapefruit juice and club soda version of, you know, like a really just nice, refreshing, cooler long drink. So first thing we're going to do is stuff our glass with ice absolutely to the brim. All right, so we've got our nice full glass of ice. Just need to find a bucket to dump my my first cocktail in here. Thank you. Now I'm gonna actually put this off screen really quick and have it rinsed out just because it had those jalapenos in there and I don't want the flavors to commingle too much.
So you took the end of the jalapenos, so you really don't want the part that has the seeds in it.
It depends on how much spice you like. You know, I leave the seeds in mine just because I tend to have a little bit higher tolerance for heat and spiciness when it comes to that stuff. But if you wanted it a little milder, but you still did want to use the chili in there, you could absolutely slice it in half, take a spoon, core out the seeds, and then just use strips of jalapeno as opposed to the rings like I used in the first one. All right, so Paloma construction time. First things first, we are going to fill our shaker with ice. Once again, you'll find some common threads in bartending, whether it's at your favorite dive joint or the most high-end of fancy cocktail bars with secret handshakes and secret knocks just to get in, is you're always going to stuff your glass with ice, and you always want to be working with lots and lots of ice. So move somewhere with a refrigerator that makes around 50 pounds a day. No, I'm just kidding. So first things first, ice, shaker. Second step, mezcal. For this recipe, we are going to put 2 ounces of mezcal. So once again, that's 4 tablespoons, or for me, just the large side of my fancy Japanese cocktail jigger. The next ingredient is going to be some fresh squeezed grapefruit juice, which I've got here. Okay. So we are also going to add 1 ounce of grapefruit. So that's the small side here, or 2 tablespoons. Put that right in there. And as you'll find with a ton of cocktails, fresh lime juice. We're going to do 3/4 of an ounce. So for those of you using measuring cups, that's going to be 1 tablespoon combined with 1 teaspoon and 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. And then we are going to put a little bit of our agave simple syrup, right about 1/2 ounce. And you could play with this recipe a little bit too if you like it a little more tart, a little more sweet. That's where you can kind of adjust the agave syrup, but 1/2 ounce goes there right in the tin. We're going to pop our top on. We're going to do a good 15-second shake.
So if someone doesn't have a shaker at home, what do you recommend?
Mason jars are great. They seal watertight. You know, you can use them to store juices, mix cocktails, canned tomato sauce, save pesto, just about anything in the world. Ball mason jars. You'd think I was sponsored, right? So once that is all set, we are just going to pour that into the base of our glass. Sometimes with all the pulp in the grapefruit, it can give us a little bit of a hard time. But you should come right to about 2/3 marker there. And then we've got some club soda. We're just going to fill the glass here. And let's see, do I have a bar spoon handy? I'm just going to go ahead and give that a gentle stir. Make sure it's all combined. You could just as easily do a salted rim on this one. Do a little spin on a classic cocktail called a Salty Dog, which is just a Greyhound, which is vodka and grapefruit juice with a salted rim. So once you kind of learn the basic constructions of cocktails, you'll really start to see the similarities, and you'll realize that you know a lot more recipes than you think you do, because if you substitute these cocktails for tequila or for vodka or for rum or for gin, they just start having different names, but they're the same kind of ratios of ingredients. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste test this one. You know, quality control parameters are very rigid here. Yep, I'd buy that for $1. And again, as is typical here on Tuesdays, me passing my cocktail off screen. She works for drinks, folks. Give her a hand.
Very, very jealous.
Yeah, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Okay, so here's a question. It's not alcohol related, but it is beverage.
Yep.
Seltzer, club soda, sparkling water. What's the difference?
So sparkling water tends to just be have less carbonation per liter. So it doesn't have those kind of really tiny effusive bubbles that are going to lift up and support a cocktail. Tends to, if you put sparkling water in a drink, it tends to taste really flat. Club soda and seltzer are pretty much interchangeable. I do believe that the only technical difference, if there is one, is the salt content. But either way, they're really similar and can be interchanged in any recipe or cocktail. So you always want to stick to club soda or seltzer, never sparkling water.
Good to know. Have your sparkling water on the side.
Yes, have your sparkling water. You can squeeze grapefruit into it. You can have a lot of fun with it. It's just really not going to have enough carbonation to really be that kind of like fizzy grapefruit soda flavor that you might actually be looking for. So last but not least, here is the signature cocktail from the roof. This drink is called a Velociraptor. Yes, like the dinosaur in the Jurassic Park movies. Vicious monster descended from chickens. But this one's good, delicious, and it'll probably only sneak up to you after like 4 of them. I don't know. So first things first with this guy, we're going to chill our glass. Oh, we switch cameras here so we can all see a little bit better. A nice, pretty wine glass here for that. We're going to go ahead and give my shaker a little rinse with some club soda here, just for continuity's sake. Okay. And then we are going to go ahead and mix up our shaker tin once more. All right, so same as before, 1.5 ounces of Mezcal. So 3 tablespoons for those of you using measuring tins. For me, I have a handy dandy lime. Okay, this one also has pineapple juice, so we're going to go with 3/4 ounce. Alrighty. This one also has a fresh squeezed lemon juice, 1/2 ounce. So a little fresh squeezed lemon here. Right. And then last but not least, we're going to put, this is chamomile infused simple syrup. Really, really easy to make. I took 1 cup of water, 2 tea bags, and 1 cup of sugar, and just heated them over a medium-high flame for about 4 minutes. Let the tea steep, and we just made a tea-flavored simple syrup. So we're going to include 1/2 ounce of that.
So do you take the tea out of the tea bags?
No, I don't take them out just because I don't really have a strainer that's fine enough to remove the leaves after it. So I just put the tea bags actually in the liquid, and then I just remove the tea bags after. But that is all she wrote for this one. So we've got mezcal, pineapple juice, chamomile syrup, lemon juice, and that is all in our shaker tin. Pop the cap on. Switch the view. 15-second shake here. All right. We want to try to get this back into the glass as quickly as possible.
So Mike, do you have any tips on shaking?
As long as you can, until your hands can't kind of tolerate the cold anymore. You know, you want the right amount of dilution. and you want to make sure you work all those ingredients and get them to meld all their flavors together, all in the same tin. So here we have it there. We can garnish this with a few cracked peppercorns or some edible flowers or a lime wheel, anything like that. And you have yourself a very, very elegant, delicious, layered, fun cocktail.
And as Mike mentioned, this is one of the cocktails that we serve on our roof when it is open. So here you can make some for yourself, and then once we reopen, have some on our rooftop.
Anybody have any questions, comments, recipe concerns, advice? I'll hang on for a few minutes, and I'm happy to share any of that kind of info with you guys. But if not, thank you as always for tuning in. Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Either check out myself, Mastering Mixology with Mike, or watch us when I co-host with our executive chef, Charles Curley, for Chef's Corner, where he shares a lot of great personal recipes as well as hits from his celebrity chef friends and Jacques Pepin and some other special guests. So, like I said, I'll hang around for a few minutes to answer questions and take feedback. If not, I hope to see you guys subscribe and like all the virtual content that we're doing for you. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next time.